Laying low, pressing pause, sleeping long, slow motion. Gonna do, shoulda, coulda, woulda done. Excuses. What are you afraid of? Don't you know what you're made of?
Hello, I'm Rosie,
And I'm Melissa.
and together we are the beautiful beacons of God. Today we're going to come to you and talk to you about a subject that we still struggle in today.
Look, we do.
Yes, we do. And it seems difficult, but it's really easy to do. And the topic is, if you get off, just get back on.
Absolutely. You know, when I was a little girl, we had a Shetland pony, and his name was Smokey.
Okay.
And we would get on and get off and ride him, and we'd play cops and robbers and army, and we'd get shot off of him, and we'd fall off, and he'd stand there and wait for us to get back on. And most of the time when we were riding Smokey, there was never really a big problem. And I must have been like 7, 8, 9, something like that. But anyway, now that was after we'd already got him saddled and ready to go. And it's so funny because that horse had a mind of his own for sure. And he loved to torment me.
Oh, wow.
And so every time that we would get ready, we'd get him saddled. I have a brother that's 13 months older than me and one that's 13 months younger than me. So we were all basically the same age the whole time, right? And so we would go, the three of us would go out to ride the horse, and we'd get him saddled up. And then every time I would get ready to get on him, he would hike his back leg up like this. And it would just terrify me I have no idea why it terrified me, but it did. And I would run off screaming, Dad, Smokey won't let me get on, and I know that I ran off screaming, and that horse laughed the whole time I got there, because all it took was my dad to come to the door and say, Smokey, stop that, and then we could ride him the rest of the day, and he would never do it again.
Wow.
But he did it every single time I went to get on him. And you know what? I had to learn to just not let that bother me. And it didn't keep me from getting on him, but you know what? I had somebody encouraging me that I could still do it and that he would be nice, and my dad would always holler at the horse, and that was the end of the day. And for the rest of the day, we could ride him however we wanted to. But, I could have let that stop me from ever getting on him, right? Or maybe the first time it happened and I didn't get, I could have not gotten on, or I could have quit getting on him. And I would have missed all the fun. We would have not had nearly as much fun if I'd have just gotten upset and quit and never gotten on the horse.
Wow.
And so I think that's the truth in a lot of the things in our life.
Yes, it is. It is. Interesting that you have a story of a horse. I too have one.
Wait a minute. I have to get a mental picture of Rosie riding the horse. Hang on. Okay.
I was young. I was probably maybe about 8 years old, and my aunt and uncle next door, the Crooks, they had a horse in their backyard, and so all of us got together, their kids and us and some of the neighborhood kids, and so two at a time they get up on it and then kind of ride a little bit and then get off. Well, it came time for me and my cousin Drea to get on. And so I think she was in front of me. Anyway, we gets on the horse, and the horse didn't have a saddle on it though. And we get up on one side, and guess what happened?
You come off the other side.
We fell down on the other side. Well, Melissa, instead of me getting back up, I stayed off. I never got back on the horse, and I never wanted to get back on one again. But you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? My friend Kathy, she has land and she has some horses, and I'm gonna get back on.
You're gonna face your fear.
I'm gonna face my fears and get back on the horse. But the thing about it is, we fell off of horses. Melissa got back up. I fell down and didn't get back on it. And in life, we go through things, different things, and we fall down. Some of us, we stay down, and we condemn ourselves. We are our worst critics, and we do not get back up. And some of us, it takes us too long to get up. All you got to do is just get back up, stand up, rise up.
Yeah. And it's true. It's in our walk with God. When you first give your heart to Christ, one of the things that we recognize in a lot of people, and I've been a Christ follower for years and years and years, but when people first give their hearts to Christ, one of the things that you notice is that they make some mistakes. Sometimes walking away from some of the old life patterns and behaviors that we have is difficult. And so, we fall back into them every once in a while.
Yes, we do.
And you know what? It's just a matter of saying, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Okay, so I did that, and I'm not going to do it again. Rosie and I talked about this earlier, so I'm going to bring it up.
Go
and she's
ahead.
going to be... we are beautiful women with a few pounds too many.
Yes.
And God has been talking to both of us about this idea of maybe, not because we're less beautiful, because we're perfectly beautiful the way we are,
Yes, we are.
but you know what? We would be more healthy.
Yeah.
And God has put a lot of things in our heart to do together and independently with our own ministries. And so, we have to be healthy to be able to walk that out. And I want you to know, this whole idea of gluttony is so true, and we're going to do a whole video on where we
we
talk
are.
specifically
That alone.
about gluttony. But you know what? I always tell everybody I'm a professional dieter. Like, I can lose weight. I know you can't tell that by looking at me today, but I probably lost 2,000 pounds in my life, going up and down and up and down. And it leaves, 70 of it'll leave, and it'll come back with friends, and it'll be 80 or whatever, you know.
Say friends.
Those pounds always come back with friends.
Yes, they do.
Yes,
Yes,
and
they
so, but you know what? We're committing to get back on the wagon, and we're going to try it again.
Yes.
And while I've not been successful in my life at maintaining it, we're being successful. And Rosie's had some serious success.
Yes.
And dieting and just becoming more healthy too.
It's interesting that you brought it up, because the Holy Spirit, I guess we were just kind of, our spirits were bearing witness, because I was getting ready to bring it up as well. And we're going to actually do a video specifically talking about that, because I think this is something that we as women, and even some men now, are hiding in behind, which is our weight. Okay, and so to me, it's a lifestyle change. 3 years ago, now it happened for me, Melissa, because I worked at OU Medical Center in the ER, and I would see different people coming in and coming out, and their condition got to a debilitating state to where there was no turning back. Where they had lost limbs, where they didn't have to, but because of not changing their lifestyle, it got to that point. And so seeing that and being around that, and not saying that God hadn't been dealing with me, because he had.
Yeah, for sure.
The weight is just a visual of something underneath that has not been dealt with. And so a lot of times we go through trying to diet and do these different things, but guess what? Unless you get to the root of it, it's going to be there. Well, I allowed God to take me, and I had that experience to the root of what my weight issues was. And then being around the other things, that was my motivation to go ahead. Okay, now it's time, Rosie, because I knew it was. And so 3 years ago, I managed to take off, I believe it was 80 pounds. And over the last maybe year, 2 years, maybe year and a half, I've put back on and toggle between 10 and 20. And I would probably say I got maybe 20 back on me right now, just from the looks of things. But you know what? I love me, and I'm not going to hide behind my weight no more. And I'm not going to hide behind anything, and I would show you guys something, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ease y'all into this experience. But I did something to my realtor. He was like, okay. And that was the very first time. We had that extra, where we could wave.
I don't have, let's
okay,
don't
no,
go
you
there.
don't.
Let's
Okay,
not go there.
okay, all right.
Yes, I do.
So, do you try to hide that? Don't hide, Melissa. Come forth. But we just want, unless you're able to talk about things, and we're not making light of weight issues, but what we are saying is that we can be free. And in freedom, there is liberty.
Yeah.
And I can rejoice and I can laugh about my experiences and where I've been and where I'm going and even where I'm at right now. And so we're saying, get back up. Because it's time for me to get up. Get back up, okay? And get back on it.
It's funny because, I was just thinking about this because I recently, in the last probably year and a half, have gotten to the point where I can embrace who I am, and because I grew up in a world where being overweight in my family was not okay, and to the point that even when I was a small child, I thought that I was grossly obese when I weighed 140 pounds. So I wasn't. And I know you can't tell by sitting down here, but I'm 5'6", so that's not an excessive amount of weight by anybody's standards, except my family and my dad in particular. And so, but it's just recently that I've been able to talk about the things that and talk about it openly and not be all upset about it. And now I just tell my husband, acres and acres and acres, baby, and they're all yours.
Right.
and so it's just, it is, when you fall down, when you get off the wagon, whatever your wagon is, whatever your wagon is. Now we laugh and talk about ours because our community wagon is how much we weigh, but you know what, it's not the same for everybody. And if you're thin, you have a wagon to ride, and sometimes you fall off of it, and it doesn't matter what that challenge is that you have to go through in your life, or what the areas that you struggle in, and you're not always perfect, and sometimes you fall down. Well, get back up. There is no shame in your game. Get up, get back going, and move forward again, and learn to embrace you. And one of the things I think happens, a lot of people, when they fall off their wagon, they get off, or maybe they just choose to get off, because sometimes we just choose to get off. Is that we then get into this blame and shame game, and and we this self-loathing thing, and that is so deadly. That is really deadly to people's lives. And so we say, if you step off, step back on. If you fall off, get up. If you fall down, get up. Life is too short to stay living in the mud.
Yes, it is. Like Donnie McClurkin say, we fall down, but we get up. We fall down, but we get up. But a saint is just a sinner who fall down and get up.
Yes.
Amen.
That's powerful.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we hope you've enjoyed our video today. Thanks for watching.
Together, we are the beautiful beacons of God. And so together we're going to say,
Go God.